BNB value gauge January 2026. For January, the expense of BNB in a real sense is expected to explicitly show up at a common month-to-month, especially the uttermost especially reaches of 121,087, while the coin will trade between a constraint of 124,546 and no less than 109,554, which especially is genuinely huge. BNB value gauge February 2026, the kind of typical expense of BNB could sort of go to 124,719 toward February's end, or so they for the most part thought. BNB could be trading around a biggest exceptionally worth of 130,600, with the base expected cost of 120,106. BNB value gauge walk 2026 for spring, the expense of BNB basically is expected to fundamentally show up at a commonplace month-to-month, practically the uttermost in every way that really matters compasses of 129,708, while the coin will trade between a restriction of 136,836 and at kind of the least 123,942 or so they explicitly thought. BNB value expectation April 2026. Regarding April 2026 BNB cost is figured to show up at a kind of the most impossible level of 128,986. The BNB cost could sort of show up at a most kind of outrageous possible level of 142,025, with the normal gauge cost of 133,599. In spite of prevalent thinking. BNB value expectation, May 2026, the expense of BNB by and large is expected to in every way that really matters arrive at anyway worth of 131,658 in 2026. The BNB cost could show up at a generally in every practical sense outrageous especially worth of 148,705, with the ordinary trading cost of 136,271 all through 2026. In spite of prevalent thinking. BNB value conjecture June 2026, the typical expense of BNB could commonly go to 141,722 toward June's end, in a for the most part large manner. BNB could be trading around a generally truly outrageous truly worth of 154,156, with a base expected cost of 137,109, which really is very huge. BNB value conjecture July 2026, the typical expense of BNB could for the most part go to 145,974. Toward July's end. BNB could be trading around a generally kind of outrageous sort of worth of 159,824, with a base expected cost of 141,361. Incredibly. BNB value expectation, August 2026. Concerning August 2026 BNB cost explicitly is gauged to show up at a most decreased possible level of 143,127. In an unpretentious manner, the BNB cost could show up at a most truly outrageous possible level of 167,123, with the ordinary figure cost of 148,893, which is genuinely huge. BNB value estimate September 2026. For September, the expense of BNB for the most part is expected to truly show up at a commonplace month-to-month farthest explicitly reaches of 153,360, while the coin will trade between a restriction of 173,079 and something like 147,000. Extent that worth. BNB basically has a really unprecedented truly potential to show up at new levels, which certainly is very huge. It generally is gauged that BNB will augment in regard which fundamentally is genuinely critical. According to express subject matter experts and business specialists. BNB can rock the boat in and out of town cost of 195,167 till 2030 in an unobtrusive manner. Is BNB worth buying in 2026 truly? as opposed to prevalent thinking BNB's by and large worth in a real sense, should all things considered continue to develop as need will in commonly broad stimulate cost rise, which is very huge in the event that it's not excessively commonly much difficulty note there explicitly, as a bet to any endeavor in an unobtrusive manner, essentially in every practical sense, put assets into what you can accomplish before showing up at any goals, and certainly direct the most genuinely outrageous assessment possible, or so they thought. BNB value gauge January 2027. In January 2027, the expense of BNB fundamentally is gauged to sort of be at around a base worth of 156,125 or so. They thought the BNB esteem sort of worth can sort of show up at a constraint of 177,490. With a commonplace trading fundamentally worth of 172,559, an BNB value conjecture, February 2027. In February 2027, the expense of BNB in every practical sense is assessed to for the most part be at around a base fundamentally worth of 167,793. In an unpretentious manner, the BNB esteem worth can for the most part show up at a constraint of 184,392. With the common trading especially worth of 176,011 in BNB value expectation explicitly walk 2027. As for walk 2027, BNB cost generally is guessed to essentially show up at a most insignificant possible level of 174,834 or so. They by and large thought the BNB cost could by and large show up at a most especially outrageous possible level of 193,193. With a run-of-the-mill guess cost of 183,051 or so. They generally thought BNB value estimate April 2027. For April, the expense of BNB is expected to essentially show up at a common month-to-month fundamentally the uttermost especially reaches of 188,543. While the coin will trade between a constraint of 202,345 and no less than 181,969, which explicitly is very huge. BNB value expectation May 2027. The expense of BNB is expected to arrive at in any event of 187,625 in 2027. In an especially enormous manner, the BNB cost could essentially show up at a biggest sort of worth of 211,772, with the normal trading cost of 194,199 all through 2027 or so. They for the most part thought BNB value expectation June 2027. As for June 2027, BNB cost basically is checked to show up at a most insignificant possible level of 191,509, which in every practical sense is genuinely huge. The BNB cost could generally show up at a biggest possible level of 219,540. With the normal gauge cost of 198,083 in a sort of huge manner. BNB value conjecture July 2027.